Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I am going to be riding the BMW S1000R and giving you a first ride impressions review. It's really just first ride impressions, just to let you know how I get on with it from the very get-go. So far, so good. I haven't crashed it. Yay! Go me. So the gentleman at the dealership mentioned that this has not been fully run in yet. As you can see, it's only got 667 miles on it, and therefore it has some limitations in terms of how high it will rev up to, which we aren't going to get into testing that too much anyways, because this is just more about the overall feeling of the bike itself. Position wise, it's pretty comfortable. It's fairly upright, but there's definitely a little bit of lean onto the bars, which I quite like. The bars are quite flat. There is a curve in them, but they're relatively flat, and that kind of, you know, you feel a little bit, just a tiny bit leaning forward. Interesting. Oh, almost got run over by a bird there. The foot pegs are up a bit, so your knees feel like they're definitely a little bit up and back, but the overall position feels quite comfortable. The seat is very soft and plush. Whoa, hello. We're just gonna go, are we? The quick shifter from first to second is butter smooth. Just so incredibly smooth. We're gonna do a bit of testing on the feeling of that. Once we start going a bit faster, we'll put a little bit of testing into the quick shifter up and down and see what we think. But overall, first impressions are the seat position is sporty but comfortable. The engine, I'm gonna get back to you on the engine. I still need to see. I need to spend a bit more time with it. Whoa, hello. What are we doing here, Grandpa? Okay. Yeah, that's a turn. Oh man, going from first to second is just so nice compared to the XSR with the Woolwich quick shifter, which is always a very jerky affair when you go from first to second. So that's really nice feel, really nice feeling to it. There is a little bit of buzz that I'm feeling through a little bit through the handlebars and a little bit through the foot pegs. I mean, fair enough, I should probably be in a higher gear. Yeah, even with a higher gear, I still feel a bit of buzz. Okay, that's interesting. The quick shifter is really good, really nice. Very smooth, very comfortable, and yeah, absolutely something that that BMW should be proud of, because that is like butter. It does feel like it's an electronic switch, as in whenever you move it, you don't feel like you're physically pushing into a gear so much. You feel like you're tapping in electronics, and the electronics are going, hey, I need to change now. Boom, I'm going to change. Which it takes some getting used to if you're not used to dealing with a quick shifter. But it once you get used to that, it's super smooth, super smooth. Even downshifting in the lower revs seems to be quite nice, even though I was not really using quick shifter there. So yeah, I think the quickshifter definitely stands out as smooth, and the riding position feels sporty but nice. Tip-in behavior, we're going to get to that, and engine characteristic behavior, we're going to get to that as well in a moment when we get a chance to actually experience it. The switchgear is nice. It's again, it's like the quickshifter. It feels electronic in that, like, you move the switch and it hits an electronic connection. It doesn't feel as physical in terms of, like, whenever you're changing your indicators and whatnot. It doesn't feel as positive, but it does certainly look like quality, and it does feel like quality too. It's just, if you're used to a kind of really analog feel, which is what I have on my XSR, it takes some getting used to, and it feels a little bit, I won't say tacky, because that's too strong a word, but it doesn't feel like you're physically switching a knob or anything like that. It feels like you're pushing electronic buttons. Well, hello. The foot peg position, yeah, is definitely sporty on the foot peg position. It's not super crazy cramped up. It's maybe a little bit more cramped up than the Suzuki Hayabusa was, but they're pretty similar. Actually, I think the Hayabusa and this, in terms of, like, knee position, is actually pretty similar. I really want to get a chance to try this this engine out, and to also just see how it feels handling wise in some twisties. So we're doing a little bit of kind of street riding here to see how it behaves in town, which I think it behaves just fine. I think it's very well mannered. Third gear, 30 miles an hour. Again, a bit of buzzing through the bars. I hate to say it, because I don't want to be unkind, but it feels a little bit like a toy. Like, whenever you first start it, there's just something about the engine note, about the character of the engine, and maybe it's the exhaust that I'm not quite used to yet. And of course, being a stock exhaust, I'm sure it's going to be a little bit quiet anyways, but I don't know, there's just kind of a little tickety-tacking sound to it that it just isn't quite as awe-inspiring as I was expecting it to be. You know, this is a very powerful motorcycle. I can't remember exactly how many horsepower is on this, but I can put that in the video here and then overlay. But you know, this is a very powerful motorcycle, 1000cc, and when you get on it and you first kind of hear it and feel it, you don't get that sense. It feels yeah, I don't know, it's not it doesn't feel like luxury Italian superbike, let me put it that way, which is not. It's German, and so maybe that's what that's all about. Anyways, let's hit some nationals here and see if I get a different impression. Hit the rev limiter there. It's definitely got the power, I'll give it that. Let's see how she feels in the corners. What is nice is there's loads of space on the seat to get back and to kind of get yourself into a little bit of a sporty position. Like there's plenty of space to lean back into it, which is quite nice. Vibey on the bars, very vibey. It's distractingly so, actually, which is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. The engine power delivery is very smooth. It's powerful, no doubt whatsoever, but it's very smooth. It's very smooth. In some ways, the XSR feels more powerful and torquey off the line than this does, because this is so smooth and the XSR is actually quite rough. So whenever you're going at speed, you feel you feel the bits of power a bit more than you do with this. Alright, let's have a go here. Handling wise, what do we think about it handling wise? Let's see here. My favorite stretch of twisty road. Brakes are pretty good. Yeah, brakes are very nice. Handling wise, it's very neutral, you know. It doesn't say here's a corner, I'm gonna fall into it, and it doesn't say you gotta wrestle me through this bend. It's just kind of in between. It's just you know, you go and it goes. It feels very stable mid-corner, which is quite nice. It gives you a lot of confidence. I feel like the smoothness and that stability, I think on a racetrack, I think this would give you a huge amount of confidence. And the ergonomics on it are sporting enough that you could definitely do track days with this. You could have fun with that. The suspension test, because this is a really bumpy portion of our road here, the suspension test is handling fairly well. We're in road mode, and this is a bumpy bit of road here, but it seems to be holding itself well. Yeah, change of direction is I wouldn't say fast, but it's not slow. It's just right. Oh, very good brakes, very good. Two-finger brakes for sure. They're definitely powerful enough to get you stopped. Nope. So yeah, let me see. I'm gonna see if we can get this into a different mode, dynamic mode. Yeah, let's get this into dynamic mode. Let's move that mirror up so you can see what we're doing. I can forgive the quickshifter its electronic detached feel, because it's just so smooth. It does feel detached, but it is very, very smooth and very Again, it's confidence inspiring. There's plenty of times on my XSR where you'll get a false neutral or a false shift, and it's that's not confidence inspiring. That makes you worried. This feels like no matter how fast in the rev range you're going, see, I'm going what, 30 miles an hour, and I just shifted up to 6th, down to 5, 4th, 3rd. You know, this thing is butter smooth on the quick shifter. Butter smooth. That's very nice. Very, very nice, that. This does have keyless ignition, which I had to fumble around to find a place to put the key in my pockets, which quite frankly I find annoying. I know it's the future, so to speak, because it's cool and new techy, but yeah, I don't know. Just give me a bloody key. I know where to put it, and I know whether or not it's in the bike. Does that make me old? Probably. Such is life. So yeah, how did I feel going through the twisty section? It felt good. It felt capable. The bike is certainly able to do what you ask of it. The front end felt very confidence inspiring. Going into the corners, felt like you could push quite hard on it and get away with a lot. Good brakes. Everything is just nice, and I know a lot of reviews that I've seen about this, the previous incarnation of this bike has been that it's a little bit soulless, and I kind of see what they mean, if I'm being honest. It's hard to fault any particular aspect of it, except for maybe the buzziness in the handlebars and through the foot pegs, but you know, that's a pretty minor thing. But in regards to the general kind of ability of the bike, it's spot on everywhere. It's just, I don't know that it makes me feel, I don't know that it makes me feel any more special than whenever I'm on the XSR, if I'm being really honest. The XSR feels like more of a hoon. This feels a little bit more buttoned up, and not quite as energetic. But let's see. I'm just going to give it a little bit more time, get into it. I do like the seating position. The seating position is really nice. That part is great. The power is obviously there. The delivery of it is super smooth. It's what you expect from an inline 4. And yeah, this is actually, you know what? I think this is a perfect example of why I do these reviews and why I kind of want to, you know, get a chance to experience these bikes firsthand. Because on paper, everything about this is like, you know, great. And even in real life, everything about it is pretty great. But there's an emotional thing that we have with motorcycles that it's hard to define, and it's kind of a combination. It's like greater than the sum of its parts sort of thing, where you need a little bit of character, you need a little bit of, you know, not something wrong, but just you need something that kind of stands out at you and says, this is me, this is my character as a bike. And when everything's just right, just done to the spec sheet, you kind of lose a little bit of that. And so I don't know, I'm left feeling a little bit wanting, not for power, not for performance, not for handling, not for really anything. It's just something inside some feeling, you know. It's just the feeling that you get, and there's something not quite there. Everything is really good on the bike, really good. Let's do a bit of highway miles and let's just see how this feels. Whoa, 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 hello. That's why you always gotta watch. Well, it's got the power, I'll give it that. Definitely has the power. In 6th as well. Yeah, definitely rides up just fine. My overall first ride impressions are that this is a very good bike, very confidence inspiring in the corners, very neutral steering. It doesn't fall in, but it also doesn't make you push it in. Plenty of room to get on the on the back seat and get your leg out and really, you know, probably hoon about in it. But it doesn't inspire that special something in your heart whenever you get on the bike that you love. At least not for me, and that's going to be personal to everyone. And so if you were interested in buying this bike, I would highly recommend going out and giving it a test ride and seeing what you think. For me, would I buy this bike? No, I wouldn't buy this bike. I would look at something else that is similar in terms of ergonomics and power. If I was looking for a naked upright with sporting potential, I would look for something else that is pretty much the exact same thing in terms of spec, because spec wise this is perfect, but I would look for something that stirred my soul a little bit more. And maybe that would be the Aprilia, maybe that would be the Speed Triple, I don't know. But for me, this one just doesn't stir my soul enough. It's a fantastic machine, don't get me wrong. And it might stir your soul, so you should give it a go. But for me, I'm gonna keep looking. The top things that kind of bother me about it are the vibey bars, the slightly kind of electric feel to a lot of the switch gear, and just honestly the toy sound that you kind of get out of it in the stock form. And I know that is very possible to solve with a new pipe, and I think I do think that would be one of the first things that you should do when you get this bike, is get a decent exhaust for it, because I think that will really change the character of this bike up. It feels like it's been stuffed full of padding and, you know, limited by quite a lot. So just in terms of sound, not in terms of power. So yeah, those are my top 3 things that I would say are kind of niggles for me. In terms of things that I really love about the bike, the quickshifter, number 1, awesome. The electronics are great. I mean, those are really nice, and there's so much depth to that. We haven't even got into it. You know, we don't have time in these types of reviews to go into the electronics on this bike, but electronics are fantastic. And the handling, the turn-in feel, all of that is really nice. It's really good. I think those are really powerful things. And the amount that you can kind of scooch back up onto the seat, or back into the seat if you want, and really start carving up the twisties, I think is also really nice about this bike. So I think all in all, those are my highs, those are my lows. And will I buy it? Nope, but that's okay, because someone else will, and they're going to have a fantastic machine to play with. So there you have it. That's been me. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, give it a thumbs down. And whatever you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you can see me on the next one, which may or may not be a BMW S1000R, because more R's is always better. Right, Honda? See you on the next one, kids. Bye.